Hello, welcome to CCC Kintsugi podcast, the place where we hold space for anyone who'd like to share their sacred stories. The goal is to hold space and then eventually maybe we could hold up a mirror for you guys. But the ultimate goal is to hold hands together, provide companionship in a journey that sometimes it could be very difficult. Today, we have a very exciting guest. I'm really excited to know and to hear more from Ariane. Um, and Ariane is based in the Philippines right now. We're so happy that she is willing to join us today. Again, this is a sacred space where people could share. And I hope that through our stories and through our pains and brokenness, we achieve a certain level of intimacy as human beings. Um, our CCC Kintsugi podcast is focusing on the book Unshakable, and one of the chapters um, is called Chaos and Conflict. So we would like to touch a little bit about that. We'd like to hear what do our pains tell us. But before we dive into that, I'd like to introduce to you Ariane, and maybe you could hear a little bit about her background. Hello, Ariane. Please come in and share us a bit about yourself. Ariane, are you there? Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. Come in, Ariane. I think we lost you for a minute, but we're so happy that you made it today. How are you doing?
Good evening. Yeah. Thank you for waiting for me. Actually, I'm a bit sleepy already, but I really want to attend this session with you.
Great. Ariane, do you want to share a little bit about your background and then we'll dive into one of the topics that I'd like us to address today,
Mhm.
which is chaos and conflict. But help us
All right.
get a little bit of knowledge of of your background.
Sure. Currently, I'm a psychologist practicing here in the Philippines. I recently passed the board exam last 2023 by the grace of God from AUP as well. And also, I'm leading a non-government agency as well, giving free listening sessions called Mental Health Hour Manila. It's a listening session that provides group and one-on-one free listening or coaching sessions. So yeah, these are the things that I'm passionate doing about.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm happy that you're willing to be sitting on the other side of the table, and this time will be the one listening to you. Um, you,
Mm-hmm.
you I understand that you've been listening to a lot of people and holding space for them. It would be an honor for me today to hold space for you. Um, why don't you share with us um, something that you would like us to understand and maybe explore a little bit? Anything that you'd like to occupy this space that we're trying to hold for you.
Yes. I would like to share that this is an answered prayer to me because I'm really asking the Lord to give me as a preparation, heart preparation for my upcoming marriage or wedding this year. Um, not just in preparation for the programs, but I want to prepare my heart and um, just a backstory. why I was led into the psychology profession is that really when I have this um, that that um, longing in my heart to also help my family back then um, heal from brokenness or chaos, right? Um, and yeah, I heard this course psychology, and it it helped me know that this is something that really helps people um, when it comes to their mental health struggles. No, so yeah, I grew up in a family that I can see very chaotic at that time. Um, there are experiences where um, yeah, growing up in my childhood, like my parents have a very heated arguments, and I can really witness no those acts, and also um, some issues of trust and infidelity. So yeah, those are the missing parts of me. And then when I reflected it back, um, as I become a youth leader, there was this certain time I'm reading a book, like when I remember that time that oh um be careful of what we say, no, and I realized that the impact of witnessing a chaotic family, no, can result into becoming a bully. So yeah, I reflected on that when during my elementary days, Pastor Joff, that I was a bully, no, and like I will not stop um,
Mm.
like teasing my classmate until I saw them I see them crying, no, so um, having those experiences, I didn't know that um, it was already like um, a part of me or a result consequence of um, my brokenness. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, there are a number of things that I'm hearing here, and I want to continue to know more about you. But first, let me congratulate you. So this is a big year. You are preparing for not just the wedding, but for uh, the next big chapter of your life, uh, marriage. And what I'm hearing from you is that you'd like to prepare your heart. And the way I'm hearing you as you try to prepare your heart is to visit some of the pains that you had experienced growing up, considering the chaotic background that you two have. And maybe the real question is that we can explore today is how do these pains, maybe some of them or were already addressed, but I think, the way we do kintsugi in our sessions, we'd like to identify some of the pains that are still sitting there unnoticed. Um, and I think that's where in the book Chaos and Conflict, that's where the space intended for this time as we try to explore and understand and listen to the continuing cry of our pains. And I don't have any idea if there are still pains um, crying out there inside of you. But um, what I'm getting so far is that you'd like to make sure that your um, mental health, as you prepare for this commitment of marriage, you would at least uh, get to the next level of awareness, understanding how your own pains and maybe wounds in the past might help or sometimes hinder the growth of your relationship with your future husband. So let me reflect back on some of the things that you were sharing a while ago. And I think what's important right now is for us to identify things that are still um, uh, speaking to us. Right now, the exercise here is really to speak to our pains, listen to our pains, not just speak to our pains. Make space to our pains and try to understand what do these pains tell us. So maybe, although you were sharing a number of instances that caused you pain in the past, maybe you could share with us what you think is still there that speaks to you most.
Mhm. Um, yeah, I think that sometimes, or I just become aware of the patterns I had been right now into my own relationship, is that having that um, being very overreactive to the little things. Like I am the one who always seeing the weaknesses of my partner, like what maybe I have witnessed, no, growing up from my parents. I have that now tendency to really parang maximizing or overgeneralizing those um, like little things in the relationship, and I make it um, onto a bigger issue, in which I felt like this is not healthy anymore. I want to break that cycle in me and really heal myself from that.
Great. Okay. Thank you for that. The tendency and a big temptation in many of the exercises that I have experienced in counseling as well as in the psychotherapeutic relationship is jumping right away to intervention. You know how to, for example, how to stop maximizing or overgeneralizing things. I mean, that would be a great goal. But before we address that, I think there is something in you um, that is wanting to be heard. Um, when you overgeneralize and when you maximize things, identifying little things in your partner and seeing how that might cause problems in the future. Um, on the surface, what I'm hearing right now is your desire to take full control so that things that you have experienced in the past um, could be avoided. Um, so this is not about um, finding ways on how to stop that yet. I don't want to go there because I think there is a story um, behind this. Sometimes it becomes a compulsion. This compulsion to control things. Controlling is a coping mechanism, making sure that we are somehow protected from the future pain that our mind was projecting and sometimes predicting based on the experience that we had in the past. Um, so maybe, if you don't mind, um, let's try to listen to what this pain, if it is a pain, okay, you let me know. You understand your feelings better than I do. It is your feelings. But maybe what we can unpack right now is for us to understand um, the compulsion, okay, the desire to um, when you say overreacting, the word act, the image that comes to mind is busy hands, trying to manage and trying to make sure things are under control. So that is an expression of fear as well as maybe of pain. So instead of fixing the busy hands, maybe we can try to listen. What do those expressions, those busy hands, and if they are expressions of pain, what do these pains um, are trying to tell you? If you can go back a little bit and maybe share with us, um, what is it like to be in a relationship without you controlling or providing intervention? Um, what comes to mind, and what's the experience like?
Yes, indeed, I can see that it's just unhealthy coping, no? When I try to like displace what I want to happen in the relationship. So right now, going back to that, I'm really seeing that somehow, no, the broken parts of me in my childhood comes from like um, yeah, because of um, the um, re- growing up from a very critical parent, no, um, like everything they see, um, um, they see is like not good for them, no, something like that, pastor. And also
Yeah,
um, like also I've shared issues of infidelity, knowing that like that those narratives that like is there um, like I can be validated on what I do. So yeah, I become very um, achiever. No, I want to overachieve because that's part of me that I want to be validated, something like that, Nestor. So did I answer your question already?
sure, sure, sure. I mean, you have a very rich story, and I'm not quite sure we can unpack that in one sitting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe we can have more talks in the future about this. Um, but let's try to stay in your here and now. I know the backdrop is your history. Um, the here and now that I'm getting so far in your introduction is um, you are getting married soon, and you are in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship right now. And in your relationship, you realize that of your own tendency to correct and sometimes control or to identify small mistakes, and you tend to maximize or overgeneralize and make big fuss out of this, and you don't like that. So right now, you are tying that up with your history, and it's a long history, and we can
Mm-hmm.
spend a whole day trying to identify um, the cause. But instead of identifying the cause, so we can fix maybe down the road the cause. Let's back up a little bit and just stay in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe engage in um, painful exchange or experience you have with your partner. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Pains that might cause him to experience some of the tendencies and that you have highlighted, or pains that you experience when you see yourself um, in that pattern. Um, and then maybe even without going back all the way to your childhood, maybe we can start unpacking and listening to that pain um, that you are experiencing in that particular moment when you have this exchange with your partner, difficult exchanges. Um, is that, does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I remember the time when my anger to my um current partner now becomes very chaotic, and I really use some like heavy hands, no, like my anger is releasing through my hands, and I want to like pull him, or like I want to grab him, like, or um raise hand on him. And for me, I'm really shocked on that reaction. I see how anger really can get control over you, and yeah, it's really um overwhelming back then. So um and for me, it's like, yeah, listening to my needs, and um being
Yeah.
curious on how um or to from where these feelings can
Yeah.
be rooted from, help me understand that, oh, this is not anymore healthy to
Hmm.
continue um, having like those um, tendencies or triggers.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a trigger there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you're familiar with the pattern because you've seen yourself getting angry, several times, and you recognize the pattern. You recognize the heavy hands. You recognize what comes to your imagination, in terms of your responses. But there was a trigger there. Um, in that particular exchange that you were referring to, take us there. What triggered you to, you know, to experience the anger that you were talking about?
um, I believe that um, um, something about attention and affirmation, or that longing for um, care that I did not receive from him back then, and like I'm I'm overacting on that, and it really controls me the whole day because of that.
Yeah. Okay. So, if when you here's what I'm hearing from you, when you experience someone, especially someone special to you,
Mhm.
um, lacking care and missing some of the things you wish to experience, you know, failing to provide that, um, then you react and you take things to, um, you try to manage and you try to control to a point where um, the control becomes quite chaotic as well. Because if you can't express that through words, then the hands speak so loud, and the hands, may want to jump in and say, yeah, listen to me. This what's happening. This is what's painful, and this is what's. You don't have the words to express that, but you do have the hands um, communicating. So I think that is the kind of language maybe that you learn to engage and use growing up. And I
Mhm.
think right now that's the only way you know how to express the pain that you do
Mhm.
have. Um, Originally, as children, when we were born, the moment we were born, most of kids, the goal is to make them cry, because that is a symbol of life. And cry is also an expression of pain. Cry is an expression of hunger. And cry is an expression, I mean, that I'm here, that I'm here to be loved, I'm here to love, you know. That's the only language we know. Um, but as we grow, we no longer use that language for some reasons of maybe in an imperfect world like this, at some point, uh, the cry is no longer heard. That language is forgotten. That language is no longer meaningful when we express them, especially to the grown-ups that are supposed to take care of us. Um, and growing up in a chaotic family, I can see how um, maybe what has been modeled in terms of communicating needs, is through no longer through tears, but maybe through control and through power and through something that would make you feel the pain instead of me expressing the pain. The way you communicate is to make sure others would feel the pain that you are experiencing. If that is the language that you learned to embrace growing up, um, then that is the language you would use in expressing your pain with your partner. And I think that's what's being highlighted right now. But that's just one. Okay. The other thing is the meaning of failing to deliver, when your partner fails to deliver the kind of love that you wish to experience. Um, in any relationship, um, we tend to get attracted to our fantasy at first, and then put this fantasy um, on, place them in our partner, thinking that they can deliver whatever it's in our fantasy. Um, and I think you will go through this for quite some time, but that's okay. That's why there is such thing called such thing as honeymoon period, right? Honeymoon period is when you continue to experience um, the fantasy that you're enjoying from each other. Um, but then when reality kicks in, and I think from time to time reality kicks in, even in your relationship as a boyfriend girlfriend, now that you're dating and now that you're engaged, is that you experience sometimes that fantasy fails when the other person can no longer deliver some of the things that you were hoping. So two things here: the fantasy and the kind of how you express your pain when that fantasy fails to meet your need, or at least when your partner fails to represent that fantasy. Your partner has a lot of flaws, just like you. We're human beings. Sometimes we can't deliver the way we expect others to deliver. So this is the kind of patterns and dynamics that you would notice in your relationship. I think what we can address today is understanding two things. We will try to raise the level of awareness in terms of knowing and understanding the language you speak. Okay, um, with flaws in it, and maybe it's not always flaws. Sometimes it's a good thing to know. Your transparency, that you're so angry that you're experiencing pain inside of you. So both gifts and curses in the way you communicate, and that's one. The other level of awareness that we could raise here is who is your partner representing right now? Feeling the kind of fantasy that you have, and your fantasy is also shaped um, by the many wishes that you have growing up, things that you failed to experience and to um, to embrace growing up in terms of your relationship with others. Um, so big responsibilities, and this is not just you, okay? Your partner, every single one of us, your partner as well, maybe has his own um, set of fantasies that you are fulfilling right now, and that's part of romantic love. You know, sometimes we fall in love with love, and then finally we fall in love with a person. So so these are the two things that we can address right now. So let me go back to the way you communicate your pain, and maybe before letting others hear your pain, the invitation right now is for you to hear your own pain, meaning why it is important to you to experience in an exacting way, because right now that is the issue, to experience in an exacting way the kind of care that you'd like to experience as an individual and as a person. Why it's important? I mean, of course, love is important, but there is a story behind, you know, that when your partner could fail to deliver in the, meeting the standard, if he failed to meet certain standard, certain ways on how to take care of you, why is that painful to you? That's how we try to listen to our pain. So maybe you can share with me when your partner fails, when your partner fails to deliver the kind of love that you'd like to experience in a specific way, because you can remember, you can identify some of the things that he failed to deliver. Why is that important to you? What is the pain telling you? Can you give me some thoughts about that?
Um, yeah, going back to that experience, I can see that my pain somehow um, helps me to realize um, that um, I, I have attached my worth into how he cares for me and how he um, become a service oriented for me. And when he does those, he do those things to other people, like I feel like um I, he he may also have that enough care for others, right? So maybe on a jealous part, I become very reactive on that. And the next one is that um, yeah, maybe I have that tendency to like see myself as low, or
Mm-hmm.
or not that important, whenever um, like the care that I want to receive from him, I do not receive. I feel, yeah, less important, or not that valued.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so maybe that is the need that um, I want to see in a relationship, but realizing that I am already um, um, and unconditionally loved by him, even though, yeah, he may serve those people around me, or other woman like that. um, uh, it doesn't changes um, how the relationship that we have already established with each other, um,
Yeah.
yeah, is already constant, is
Yeah. Yeah.
already there.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, let me just appreciate your openness and your willingness to share the kind of struggle that some struggles that you're experiencing right now, especially with your partner. Um, so again, I mean that this is a treasure. Thank you very much for being vulnerable. So, and we could learn a lot from this. I hope it's not just you, even myself, just listening to your story. So um, here's what I'm start to take things away already, but let me share what's in my mind right now. So number one, when when your pain is revealing not the struggle that you're having with your partner. To me, what I'm hearing, your pain reveals your relationship with yourself. Because if you remove your partner in the equation, maybe the next question is this: who would be there to provide you the information, a very important information, as far as your identity is concerned, and as far as connection is concerned? Who are you without your partner? Do you see yourself as someone that is enough, someone that could love oneself? And what your pain is telling me is that the reason why you're here, my partner, is because I'm having a hard time loving the person in me. And maybe you could do what I am having a hard time or failing, to do for myself. So if you could feel that, that makes me whole. And this is very common. This is not just between the two of you. This is very common among, couples. So when your partner is seen being caring, sometimes affectionate with others, without intention, without bad intention, that image, then the fear, of um, am I am I gonna be the same person if this source of information is spread out, and becoming a little bit diluted or thin? You are the source. You are the source of my wholeness in terms of loving oneself. Now, I don't have that 100%. Um, so the expression of your pain, including the control, because that's how you communicate. Uh, you don't say ouch. You express your ouch through symbolically through your hands. Is if your pain has words, I think through your hands you can hear. Hold on a second. I am. In this is painful to me because you are the source right now. You are the source of what completes me, because it's very hard, for me to just love myself the way I see myself, the lens that I have right now. So if we will try to unpack that, I think part of what the pain is telling you is that I'm not enough if I'm just by myself. Without you, I'm not complete. Um, and there's certain, you know, uh, biologically and physiologically and psychologically, sometimes we are, you know, there is certain holes and emptiness in us that makes us um, available for others, you know. But I think what's happening is something more than that. This is not just your relationship with others. This is more of your relationship with yourself. There is a specific lens that you have embraced growing up, uh, a lens that somehow tells you that yourself is not lovable. You don't have, you were saying a while ago, you don't have that kind of worth if you would just use that same lens to examine your own value. And I think your value increases if it is, experienced through someone else's love, you know. Um, and that's why it is very important. That's why it's very precious for you to keep this relationship the way you would imagine. Because if it's going to be uh, go different ways, then it's no longer true. to, it's no longer consistent to the kind of fantasy. Forgive me for using fantasy a lot, but just to emphasize something that is more than what's expected. If it's no longer true to the fantasy that you have embraced in this relationship, and this is a part of this is this is just part of, and this is not just between you and your partner. Many couples, they have to go through this, you know, that slowly, and this is still a long road. I mean, you will still get married and you'll have this honeymoon period, and that's okay. That's part of the relationship. But I think as you move forward, as you live forward, and experience finally the person behind the fantasy, where love continue to abound. It is a long journey. I'm just highlighting the phase that you're in right now, and the phase that you're in right now is confronting some of your pains, and by confronting some of your pains, you can finally understand the kind of fantasy attached to your pain, the fantasy that gives meaning, that gives additional worth to the kind of world that you live in right now. Does that make sense?
Yes, indeed. I just realized that many times, like, we people tend to forget the how much precious we are already, how much amazing, beautiful, and lovable we are, no? Because we somehow attach our worth to those things that we can see through the lens of the world, or through social media, or yeah, no, or yeah, maybe from how I view myself growing up. And yeah, I realized that um, the learning that um, um, realizing and attaching my again my identity to how God sees me helps me realize that um, yeah, I'm already complete enough, no, and loved, um, just as I am, without any less or any more, but constantly, no? uh, even though um, yeah, I may have seen myself um, in unhealthy ways, or um, like less of me. Um, yeah, remembering how the Lord loves me um, helps me restore, no, my my worth, and um, my my love and regard for myself. And yeah, I also heard those counsels before that um, that um, we need not to somehow um, like feel our emptiness from other people. Only we can feel that emptiness um, from from the Lord, who can infinitely um, fill us. Ayan, ayan po, Pastor.
Great.
Um, and yeah, I also thankful on that, knowing that I need to restore again how and correct, no, some those irrational thoughts when I have a negative perspective on the things happening in my life, or the experiences, no? That yeah, little by little acknowledge that yeah, maybe these thoughts can um, be again not true about me, no. But if I already know who is my true self is, the identity I have from the truth, from the Bible, and how I know how God sees me, then when irrational thoughts come, I can
Mm.
like um, screen them off, and oh, this is not for me, and so I should not entertain those unhealthy thoughts, and just
Yeah,
remember who I am in the Lord.
great. Well, Ariane, here's the thing. Okay, you have a solid understanding of who you are theologically speaking. God loves you, that you are enough. That in Matthew 3:17, you are God's child, in whom He loves and who He is well pleased. Just like what He said to Jesus. So you have a very solid understanding and foundation, theologically speaking. Now, here's what's going to happen. That will be tested. Um, but there are certain brokenness and holes in our being, in our souls, that when this is going to be tried in your relationship with your partner. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have a strong, solid theology. It will follow that you will no longer experience those struggles. You will experience those struggles, and sometimes you will fail. You know, regardless of I hold a space for you, you hold space for others. We're both human beings. I still see myself failing, in many ways, the way I relate with my family and my spouse. But the thing is not how to do it perfectly. The thing is, especially at this moment, you are, for example, um, you, your gift is to accomplish, to deliver, to do a lot of things through your hands. That's your gift. It's also your curse. It has become a curse because you use your gift to control, to manage, to restore, to salvage. So when you fail in this relationship, the failure is very important because sometimes the goal is not how to salvage. Sometimes the goal is how to let go of the strength and the gifts that we tend to use to control, to manage. Because it's the only way we know sometimes how to how to express pain. God has given us an original language to express pain, and that is experiencing our own ouch. That is saying our own why. Why hast thou forsaken me? For example, God's own way, Jesus' own way of expressing his pain. If Jesus only used control and power to express his pain, he already killed those who have persecuted him during his time. But God used this original language that God has given us, the expression of our ouch, the expression of our pain. Because the more we express our pain, and as a little child, the more we could hear what our pain is telling us, and the more we could communicate it, the healthier we could communicate it to our partner, to others who are engaged in a relationship. So thank you for joining us. I think our time is up, but again, I really appreciate you being open, being so honest and willing to be vulnerable, and sharing this wonderful theology that you have in terms of your identity with Christ. I believe this will continue to guide you and strengthen you. But if for some reason, when the rubber meets the road, as they say, and you feel that's okay, I hope you can find grace as you continue to grow. Again, in your relationship with your um, um, fiance, uh, you got engaged. Congratulations, and eventually your future husband. In your relationship with this, make room, plenty of room for failures, plenty of room for the struggle and the chaos and the conflict to happen, because that's part of life. Because in this chaos, in this conflict, in this struggle, you will find abundant grace, God's grace, is more than sufficient. May God bless you and thank you for joining us today.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
Great. So, friends, thank you very much for joining us. I know that we don't have the whole time here to discuss more about certain struggles and problems that affect us. But for those who'd like to join us and those who'd like to participate in this program, please let us know. You can reach us through our Facebook page and through our website, ccchaplains.org, or you can also find here in our Facebook. Please let us know if you want to participate, or if you want to know more about our program. We'll be happy to serve you. Blessings to everyone. We're here to hold space, to hold up a mirror, and to hold hands with you as we journey together. Thank you.